Lesson, we're going to have a chance to practice programming with a lot of concepts and patterns that we've explored over Lesson 1 and Lesson 2 of Unit 6. I encourage you to go through these with a partner, but if you are outside of class, then you'll have to pay very close attention to what you are doing. If you watch another YouTube video to assist you, then you'll want to pay close attention to what that person in that video is doing. You will be choosing one of 3 apps to help develop in this lesson. And actually, the 3 apps listed, the one that you are not allowed to choose is the Bird app, okay? So you can choose from the Make a Playlist app or the National Parks app. Because in the event that you do watch a YouTube video for help, that video I will put in our assignment post, but it is on the Bird app, and so I don't want you to just copy what someone is doing on the Bird app. I want you to be able to tell what they're doing and then transfer that in your own way to a different app, okay? And that's going to show me that you understand what's happening with lists, okay? So, while the design of each of these apps is complete already, it will be your job to use your knowledge of lists in order to make the apps function as intended. So whichever of those other 2 apps that you choose, please continue to choose that same app on each of the choice levels. There are a total of 10 levels for each app. So in Lesson 4, you're going to have to use a lot of these skills on an independent project, and these activities are good practice for what you'll find there. So what I will want you to submit is going to be the wrap-up question and a question that I will post at the very end of this video. So go ahead and choose between the Build a Playlist app and the My National Parks app. I will have the link to the Birds of a Feather playlist that another teacher has created that you can follow along with. And if you want to go ahead and do that one first and then go back and do one of these other 2 apps, so that way you get the practice with this and then you're applying those skills here, you can do that too. So let's remember a real quick refresher of the app development process. So when developing apps, we first examine user stories, which are the descriptions of the needs or wants from the perspective of someone who might use the app. So for example, I would like to be able to save my favorite items. Okay, now the app development process. User stories become milestones in app development. Okay, each milestone is based on user stories and illustrates one feature to implement within the app. So this, I would like to be able to save my favorite items, becomes a milestone for the creator to create the ability to save favorite items within the app. Then, to accomplish a milestone, we have to complete tasks. Each level in this lesson is focused around a single milestone and the tasks needed to accomplish that milestone. So, if our milestone is to create the ability to save favorite items in the app, task 1 might be to make a favorite button, or task 2 might be to save data into a variable when the user clicks a button. So, I want to take a moment and show you a tool which might help you create these tasks. So let me okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go to goblin.tools. Okay, this is something that I love using just for me in general, but I want to show you how to use it to help break down the items that you need. So what we're going to do is we are going to copy this milestone, okay? And then we're gonna go back over here. Create the ability to save favorite items in an app. Now, this is for neurodivergent people. So if you have ADD or ADHD, and you need help breaking down large tasks into smaller manageable tasks, that's what this is for. So let's say that you're a neurotypical person. You don't have ADD and you don't have ADHD. So let's see what this will do for us. It adds it as an option. Okay, it creates a task out of it. But then what we want is we want to click the magic button right here, break down the item. And let's see what we get. Determine the storage method, design the user interface to add and view favorites, implement the functionality. Okay, well, let's change it to the spicy. Let's make it extra spicy. So you definitely have ADHD. You have a problem doing this. Let's add the same task, okay? And let's break this one down. What is that? I don't know what that is, but let's break this one down and see what results we get. Okay, begin by conceptualizing the feature of saving favorite items in the app. I don't know why it gave like blank ones, but we can go ahead and check those off or like just delete those. Okay, we'll check that off and delete that. Okay. Research existing apps that have similar features to understand best practices. So what other apps have favorites buttons? Okay. Identify the target audience, brainstorm the types of users that might want to use this, define the user interface elements. This might be too much. We haven't talked about wireframes, but wireframes are, you know, in your activity guide, whenever it would have the spaces for screens and it would want you to draw out what the screen would look like and then draw arrows to where if you click a button, it takes you over here. That's what a wireframe is, okay? So let's go back up to this one. Begin by conceptualizing the feature of saving favorite items in the app. Okay, well, let's break that item down a little bit more. Begin by understanding the overall goal of the task. Save favorite items. Identify the purpose. Well, why does somebody want to save a favorite item? Because they want to come back to it later. Define what qualifies as a favorite. It's whatever the person chooses, okay? Consider the different types of favorites. Research existing applications that have favorite similar saving features. I think that's going to be the most useful in that first create the ability to save favorite items in the app, okay? All right, so if this ends up being too much, you could choose a different way if you wanted to, or you don't even have to use this at all. It's really up to you. I just wanted to make sure that if this is something that you wanted to use to create the steps that you might take in creating an app, that you have access to this to take a little bit of that mental load off of yourself. So then, working through a level. Each level you complete will also complete a milestone in your app development. You should approach each level in this manner. Read the user story, so open the green user story accordion to understand the user's needs. Complete the tasks. Each level has 1 to 3 tasks which will help achieve the milestone, and then test your code. There are tests to run for each level to make sure your code is working as intended. So working through a level, each level has important information and hints condensed down in accordion tabs. An accordion tab is like this arrow button that whenever you click it, it expands, and when you click it again, it closes, essentially. So look for the triangle icon and click it to reveal. All right? I'm So let's go look at that first. All right, click the shaded bar below to reveal user stories for this app. You have users, okay, you have to read this, all right? Now this is not one that you're going to be choosing, but this is one you're going to be watching another video on, and so they're going to go over that. And then how do these practice levels work? Well, you stick with the same one each time. As you move through, y'all can read all of that, okay? And so this first one, you're really just experimenting with how it works, and then you move on to list in action. You're going to stick with whichever one you're working on. If you're practicing with the birds one first, then that's fine. All right, this icon means that this level is part of a bigger project, so changes will be saved across all levels. Okay, so now assigning values. My screen is too small for this. Okay. Assigning values. You've got your user stories, so you can come back to that if you need to. Assigning values to lists from a data set. Do this. This is milestone 1. The tasks. It's going to tell you what to do. Okay? And then sometimes it'll have this. It'll say show me where. And whenever you click on that, it'll say start here. Okay? It'll show you where in the code. And you have these that you know exist. So initialize the index variable. Show me where. Right here. Okay, so you're going to work through this. If you're in class, you can use a partner. If you're out of class, I would use the videos that are also attached in the lesson to help you kind of get through that, okay? So pause the video here so that you can continue working through all of that and come back whenever you are finished. So one of the questions that you're going to submit for this assignment is an answer to this. What aspects of working with lists do you feel clicked today? What do you still have trouble with? Okay. I also want you to submit a final screenshot of the level that you completed. Okay. You're also going to have a check for understanding in Schoology, but also here, identify the number of times the body of your iteration statement will execute. Iteration statement will execute. Describe a condition or error that would cause your iteration statement to not terminate and cause an infinite loop. If no such condition or error exists, explain how the loop could be modified to cause an infinite loop. Okay, this is literally an AP exam question, okay? From the code that you submit, you will be asked to respond to this, okay? And this is one of the questions that I had to answer. I had to read over while I was scoring AP exams. Okay, so I can see you'll have submitted a screenshot of your loop, your iteration loop, okay? And it wants you to identify, okay, describe, and then if that doesn't apply, it wants you to explain how the loop could be modified to cause an infinite loop. So while you're working, be looking for an infinite loop. An infinite loop would be a problem for the user, okay? Because that means the app's not going to work how it's supposed to, and they're going to have trouble getting out of whatever that loop is because it continues infinitely. So while you are working through, think about these things, okay? And that is it for this lesson. Lists can be a little tricky, but hopefully you made really good progress today in nailing down this concept. We may have a few lingering questions, and I will have a discussion board posted just for lists, so you can ask questions on that discussion board and also answer questions from your classmates. But you also have a lot of resources available. So next time, in lesson 4, you'll have a chance to put all of this together by programming an app that starts with the blank screen.